I'm Pauline.
Hey, I'm Priscilla.
I'm Pal.
And I'm Chamion.
And this is the P3T podcast.
Woo! Why am I done and
I'm
Alright. You see, imepita time ya mwibo. Aya. So, welcome back to another episode. How y'all doing? I'm not going to do that. Forgive me. Today we're going to be talking about green flags, white flags, somewhere in between green flags and white flags.
Kenyan flag.
That's not funny.
What do you mean?
So, for today's episode, I want us to do a fun activity, a fun little activity.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a list of things that guys have, like aspects of what are they called? Characteristics of a man.
like what are our no? I think the best way to phrase it is the most important practices in a relationship.
Oh yes. So I'm going to give you a list of 10 things, and then you're gonna rank them based off of what is most important. Yeah. So number 1 being the most important, non-negotiable. If they don't have, we're exiting
the door.
Yeah. And then number 10 being like never funga macho niseme. She must. Yeah.
Kasarani style. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
What did you say?
I'm just like, what?
Never mind.
I was gonna
It hits later. You know the way you were saying exit, yeah, and then people usually jump off in Kasarani.
We're all looking at
Give me 1 second as you're in disbelief.
in shock.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys.
The lady was too stunned to speak.
Mouths are
sorry.
gay.
I'm just sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah. Bring out pens and paper. The list is long.
Oh god damn.
Chukua simu.
Cartoons.
See notes, guy. Kwani simu yako ina notes?
Niko na cartoons.
What is that?
Katululu.
Oh.
As I type in mtakuwa tumesikia.
Guy, nikupea karatasi. Anyway, has everyone gotten their pen and paper?
Yeah.
Alright. So here are the things, yeah? Financial status, faith, physical attraction, age.
Baja.
Sorry.
Sorry, we're writing.
Please do. Age.
Well, I have a lot to say about age.
Wait, can I say? We would like to credit Ernest Wamboye for this list.
Love you, Ernest. Big up.
Who's honest?
Who is a prominent man in Christianity?
He does for lack of a better word, rehab for men who struggle with sexual purity.
We should hook him up.
I had a feeling.
Chamiron, just leave the name, leave the talking, leave the name.
Yeah, we should hook him up, guys. We're being good Christian people.
Are we?
Helping us a stamping
brother.
brother, you know.
Alright.
But then give me his number.
I don't have
Age.
his number.
Age.
Guys, age.
Number 1, financial status, faith, physical attraction, age, health, appearance, attraction. Hiyo. Kama nakufanya usikie moto. Age, health, character, level of education, cultural background.
You
think
gay.
we're the Flash.
I see.
All these things you're listing were lessons for me from like a previous.
You know, but not this audience of ours is not going to keep up. But let's finish the list.
Level of education.
Level of education, cultural background, love and affection.
Okay, love
And affection.
Uh-huh.
Friendship.
Emotion.
Okay, guys, I've written like a doctor.
If I ever thought I was going to be a teacher, this is my confirmation that I shall not.
Soma tu mara moja
Yeah.
just for the people in the back.
Yeah.
Doctorship.
Financial status, faith, physical attraction or appearance, age, health, character, level
Oh,
of
this character. Wait, is
Wait.
character? Sorry.
age, health, character. It doesn't even matter because you're going to re-rank them anyway.
Okay.
Level of education. Ooh, wait, nasikia kukohoa. Give me a second. Oh, si kukohoa ni kubap. Character, level of education, cultural background, love and affection, friendship.
So we rank them
We
according
rank.
to our priority.
Yeah, according to your number 1 being most important, number 10 being least important.
Right.
Okay.
Meanwhile, please enjoy this commercial break from our sponsor.
There was no faith or there was faith. Sorry. That
Um,
was so funny.
Feel free to pause here and do your own rankings and then compare, contrast, drop a nuke.
As you rank these, send them to us. DM us, or DM us, but also put them down in our comment section. Just like randomly put your top 3 and people will wonder what they're talking about. Yeah. So put your top 3, actually. In our comment section, put your top 3.
What Karen could also do is like put them on as a poll on Spotify, and then now instead of asking like your top 3, maybe your top most or your least
I'll put them on
most.
I'll read on our story.
Alright, welcome back. I don't know how Tamiron is going to edit this.
Probably been like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You had Karen's. Ding, 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 ding.
Maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Good. Anyway, so we're done ranking ours.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, should we go like everyone's number 1, everyone's number 2, or we just do
do
everyone
one,
read their
one.
list?
Yeah, I guess everyone reads their list.
Yeah.
Okay. So who'll start? Pal?
So,
Yeah.
my number 1 is so the reason why we credited Ernest is because I attended a talk, an event, or something where he spoke. And he gave us this list and told us to do this activity. So, tuna plagiarize, lakini tume credit. Na hiyo reference. Yeah, so, my number 1 is faith. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is friendship. 4 is love and affection. 5 is physical attraction. 6 is health. Physical attraction and health, like, they could be interchanged though. I don't have a preference. So from number 7 to 10, I don't particularly care, but it needed to be ranked. So number 7 is age. Number 8 is level of education. Number 9 is financial status. And number 10 is cultural background.
Okay.
Nice.
Hapo kwa cultural background.
Me, I don't even know Kikuyu, so...
No, like I get, but anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. I think I know the conversation you want to have.
What?
We'll get there.
when we
We'll
get
get there.
Okay.
Okay. Priscilla?
So my number 1 is friendship. My number 2 is character. My number 3 is faith. My number 4 is physical attraction. 5 cultural background. 6 health. 7 finances. 8 age. Love and affection is number 9. However, I wanted to bring up the point where I feel like love and affection would go hand in hand with the character bit. So like I think that would be also number 2. Like
You
For you,
them.
yeah, it would be a tie or it could be interchangeable. But
Yeah,
no,
of
it's
course.
not
It will- wouldn't
interchangeable.
necessarily-
We'll get to the
Interchangeable.
questions. We'll get to the questions.
No, but I think love and affection is like my number 2.
Okay.
I wouldn't have like 10. It would be character,
9.
love and affection.
Okay.
Yeah. Then number 10, level of education.
Alright.
Yeah.
Kamix?
Okay.
Financial status.
Yeah, relax.
I'm not a gold digger. Sorry.
But anyway. Okay, so my first one is faith, then second friendship, third character, fourth cultural background, fifth love and affection. 6, financial. 7, physique. 8, education. 9, age. 10, health.
Okay. Mine is number 1, faith. Number 2, character. Number 3, friendship. Number 4, physical attraction. Number 5, love and affection. Number 6, age. Number 7, financial status. Number 8, health. Number 9, cultural background. And number 10, level of education.
How I'm the odd one out in number 1.
Yeah. But I think it's
Interesting.
consistent with the conversations we've been having. Because even the one we had about like dating outside of your faith and marrying outside of your faith, I think you were the only one that was like, me, I'll do it. And we're all just like, hey.
Good for you.
Yep.
Okay. I think we can start with the justifications. Do you want
Yeah.
to justify?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can start with Tamiron. She looks excited to talk.
I am.
Speak to us.
So I think what was so interesting about you guys' list and mine, or where the difference comes in, is a lot of you guys put cultural difference at bottom 5.
Yeah.
Now for me, I'm quite different. Oh, it's top 5.
It's 5.
Oh, it's 5. Actually, mine is 4. But honestly, I feel like it probably should have been 1. Okay, not 1.
But
It should have been higher. If
Yeah.
some of these were not here, it probably would have been number 1. So personally, I've had experience with culture, and okay, so there's 2 instances. So let me start with my culture. Like, frankly, I feel like even if my father knows that I am dating someone from my culture, he'll take a pause and be like, really? Sure about that? Are you sure?
Is it from your culture?
My culture, kwetu, pale ushago. He'll probably take a step back and have conversations with me and make sure that I'm certain that I am really ready to get into what this, or dating or getting married to a person of this culture means. Especially if you are brought up in the typical cultural setting. If you are more modernized, maybe. But then if you came up from like the typical cultural setting, I'll be given stares. Mostly because they're very, I don't say my culture, but kama unajua. I never used to see this when I was younger because I was younger and I was children's, and it took me some time before I went to my cultural home. Or rather, I used to go when I was a kid. Then there was a period of time I didn't go, like a significant period of time. But then I went like when I was 18, around 18, and whoa, men there are like children's. They are children's. And unfortunately, they are children like that. They are children with a lot of power and a lot of authority, and they can be scary. Like how they, like it's admirable. Honestly, it's admirable how they walk around feeling like the whole world is on their shoulders and they're the authority of everything. But it can be a problem when you're married to them, and they're honestly. Kutoka jandoni, I don't know how to say that in English, but
From the forest.
from the forest, from the slice.
Oh my god.
From the teachings they receive from the slice. I don't know how to say it in English, so I just said jandoni. They're taught
Circumcision, mama.
We all get it.
Yeah, so they're taught that, literally, they're taught that women are children. And I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he was like, I would never take my son to jandoni, like a cultural jandoni. And it's just the fact that they are taught that women are children, and you have authority, so they end up being so disrespectful to their mothers. especially their mothers. Like, you have no regard, no respect for someone who literally brought you to this world. Like, so anyway, there's that aspect. For that reason, I don't know, man. Kama umetoka kwangu. Treats. But then, so there's that aspect, and then there was another aspect. A while back in 2021, I was in Uganda for a bit, and I ended up having some few interactions with some few characters here and there. And for me, what really stood out was the fact that we are literally a border away, but the differences in terms of our culture, crazy. Like, wow, like, but by that I mean like it's a big difference. Like, wow, okay. If you're from Uganda, hey, what? Especially those from the Baganda community. They're like the men from my community. And now adding difference in culture, like in terms of cultural practices, there's some things you're required to do. There's the whole kneeling. Oh my God. Ooh, I don't know that I can do that unless I'm doing it for God. Like, you know how you serve. You're kneeling when you're serving them, you're kneeling when you're greeting them. It's just...
Even when you see your father, you know. Yeah.
Like, for them, obviously, they're accustomed to it because like, that's how they grew up.
Yeah.
But for me, it was so foreign. And then discovering the cultural differences, knowing what as a woman you're expected to do, and I was just like, no. So for me, and I low-key had some, like, for a second, I had an experience with a guy that like he liked me, like I liked him back, so like I guess there was something going on there. And like the more we got to know about each other, the more like we realized we are worlds apart. And from their context, they say Kenyan girls are kichwa ngumu. Yeah. We are. The girls there are so, I don't want to say docile, I don't know, but like
They can be pushed around.
they really can be pushed around, and that's just not something a Kenyan girl will accept.
Actually, in East Africa, generally, Kenyan girls are very
Hard-headed.
very hard-headed.
Let's go.
Not hard-headed, we're assertive, guys.
Assertive.
Yeah.
Are we not the most educated female population?
Yeah, we are in East Africa.
So yeah.
You know what?
I mean, I didn't even go to the US. Like, it wasn't like a culture. It wasn't a West versus East. It was an East, but still. So for me, I think that's
Can I comment on a West-East? So, first of all, I didn't even consider like cultural background as in outside of Kenya when one, we were originally doing this thing, and then two, when we were doing China, I did consider it like that. But I agree with you, Tamiron. We're talking about marrying outside of Kenya, definitely top of my list. Like I keep saying, even if like I go abroad, I go to study, I get a relationship, I want to get married to a Kenyan. It's just my whole personality. Yes, like we went to visit some of our relatives. Should I say relatives? We went to visit, scrap the beginning part. We went to for a visit in the States in 2021, yeah. And we went to visit our relatives. I have to talk about my cousin. And like connecting with my cousin, she's like a year, 2 years younger than us. It was so tough. And then she even took us like to meet her friends, and we went out for, mini golf. We went out for mini golf, and we were like, I didn't relate to them, But then, like a few days later, we went for the best friend to the mom. Their son was graduating high school, so they were having a party for him. And now this best friend is Kenyan, the son is Kenyan American, and the people around are obviously Kenyan or Kenyan American. So that, like, we met this girl that is friends now, who was friends with the graduate, and they were like, she was so cool, and the reason why we connected with her is because she was Kenyan American. So me, I don't know Kikuyu, but like she knew Kikuyu.
Wow.
You know, she didn't like, she understood, you know, like our jokes, Nini, like everything. She understood like Kenyan things. So my cousin is like, her, she's like basically American, but this girl, she's more Kenyan than she is American. So that experience led me to be like, if you can't understand my Kiswahili language, bro, I'm not getting with you. So even like if I meet like somebody who's not ethnically Kenyan, and you know you want to get together with me, whatever, you have to understand Kenyan culture. Like you have to have been immersed in this culture for me to be like, okay, maybe. But if you're not immersed in Kenyan culture, not happening. So in the context of just like, would you date somebody from this community, that community, whatever, or would you date somebody from this community, that community, whatever, I feel like I don't have a preference, because even me, I don't know, I want to know it. My sister-in-law, before my sister-in-law snakes me, she will teach me. So I want to learn, but for now, you know, even me, I don't know, so I can't judge you if you don't know. So and if like all of us are from different communities here, so I feel like we're still friends. I could probably get with like,
But we're first Nairobian before.
I think that's
That's
an
true.
important factor. Like, yes, all of us come from different communities, but all of us were bred in Nairobi.
But you know why I can see myself like being with somebody who's not from my community? Like, you see, like my sister-in-law. Okay, my sister-in-law is from our community, but she was not raised in Nairobi. Like her, she was raised in Shag, and her and my brother are like inseparable. You know, they fell in love. They managed to, because at the end of the day, you have your two cultures. You have your two cultures. But you've also, there's a commonality somewhere. That's why for me, like, I feel like I can meet more in the middle with somebody who's been raised not outside of Nairobi and somebody who's been raised outside of the country.
Okay. Sounds makes sense.
I was going to ask Chandra a question, and all of you as well. Where does character overshadow cultural difference?
What do you mean?
Can you separate the two? Because I don't think you can separate the two. Your cultural background informs what your character is. You know, if you're raised in a culture in which selfishness is upheld, you're bound to be a selfish person. If you're raised in a culture in which you know, love for your neighbor is upheld, you're bound to love your neighbor. You know, so I don't think you can separate the two completely.
If somebody's who was raised in Tamiron, in the context Tamiron was explaining, but they have now overcome that and to understand this is not how I should be treating women.
That's a caveat I was going to bring in. Like, there's some people who've been brought up in that setup, but there's this concept of unlearning. As you grow, like, realize some things maybe don't serve you. So, especially, and some of those things may be connected to your culture, so you unlearn them. So,
I think that takes time. It's more deep-rooted, because I don't think it's something you can unlearn like in a year. It takes
Definitely,
more time, and even if you're getting into a relationship with such a person, you need to be patient enough with them to unlearn those kind of things. So it also goes to the partner. Are you willing to sit through and be patient with your partner to unlearn these things? Because if it's embedded in them, having them grown up in such a setup, it's not going to take like, it's going to take time. So it also calls on you as the partner. Are you ready to be patient with that person to unlearn all those things?
I think also to add on the difference.
Thank you. You can start that.
Now I'm still piecing my words together. I don't know, man. They're just some practical. Okay, I think for me, especially with the Ugandan context, there are some practices that are cultural, but like not that kneeling thing. that's a cultural practice, and I'm definitely not up for it. So automatically,
Sorry, continue, finish.
So like almost automatically, I've cancelled those guys. There's you guys, what? In Uganda, there's this thing they do where for the women they extend your labia.
Jesus
To
Christ.
do what?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But there's some cultural practices, there's some cultural things, not culture, there's some things they do to kind of like lengthen your labia. See, labia. Okay. See, labia off record.
Labia or minora?
Labia is
Wait,
yeah,
my sexuality is coming
yeah,
through.
so
Yeah.
they lengthen
The
lips.
Mayora.
I don't
That's
know. Mayora.
yeah, the big ones.
Yeah, they lengthen them. No, look, no, like such a like. There's some Ugandan men who'll be like, if your labia is not lengthened, there's no way we're going with you.
What?
So like such, you see, I think for me, where an aspect of where you draw the line kind of is when there's some practices that are required of you to do because of that culture.
So
I think okay, go ahead.
So I think in your context, it's not. Yes, it's cultural background, but it's like ultra traditionalists, and then people who are willing to use common sense, or rather just like their education to inform them of why, or even their religion, to inform them of why they are doing these things. Because some of these things, like you did for evil spirits to not come upon your marriage. Like I know in my culture, some of the things that are done, like when my culture when I say this, like Rorashios. Rorashios, you like when the lead up to the wedding is you start like pouring libations and you start like preparing to slaughter a goat so that you now so you can sacrifice its blood, and then now that means spirits
blood.
So that means spirits won't come on you, huh?
It's the spilling of the blood.
Oh.
Sacrificing blood.
You spill blood so that it your ancestors are appeased and the spirits don't whatever. And I don't know, in Christianity we don't particularly believe that.
The one that fascinates me is the one that fascinates me is when now in the Kikuyu community, because I'm also from there, when a woman is getting married and she has a child, okay, like this is in the traditionalistic point, they usually break the goat's leg. Yeah, there's a Kikuyu term for it. They break the goat's leg because they say the woman is like the goat, and the fact that she had a child, she alivunja mguu. Like it was not meant to happen. Like she shouldn't have had a child before marriage.
You left out the before marriage
Yeah,
part, so we're all just
marriage.
like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
Like, a woman is a goat?
So they break the goat's leg as symbolism, and then on top of that, the man is also meant to pay like a form of dowry to also the child, because the child is being taken into his family. So the dowry will be more because he's also getting
A child.
a blessing.
It's a fine. It's new. You've stolen from their home.
Yeah.
So you're coming to pay the fine for stealing.
Yeah.
I forget that's not Kikuyu, but there's a culture that's like that. I forget which one it is.
I think it's also
Kikuyu.
Kikuyu, because I have
It's
a
Kikuyu.
friend whose sister was impregnated, and the guy who impregnated her was made to come with mbuzi or ng'ombe or something because he brought
Stuff.
That aspect. I think for me, you're asking like where do I draw the line on like culture and stuff. Me personally, now all the cultures you've talked about, the elongating of labia.
Oh gee.
These are not none of me. I will not be partaking. But I'm also not going to do any effort to change you or to change your way of life. So if that's something that's important to you, like you as a man, you've said in your heart by force, my wife lazima akwe na elongated labia, it's okay. You go your way, I go my way.
But then
Zapatana
But you're
mbinguni.
I think
No.
No. I was making a joke.
I know.
guys. I was making a joke.
I think to go back to your analogy of being ultra traditionalistic, you know, in Uganda, that whole kneeling thing, it's
normal.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's not like
so it's not like
super weird.
yeah, it's not like super traditional. It's just that's
The
how
way of
they
life.
are. That's their way of life. So I think
Are you willing to adopt it? That's the
no,
question.
I'm not willing to adopt
Yeah.
it.
But-
But then I think also, let me just conclude and say,
Sorry.
yeah, I guess it spans from cultural. For me, culture, yeah, it spans from like what you're taught in your culture to uphold. So what ends up being somewhat your character to like the cultural practices.
I think for me, how I looked at cultural background is not necessarily the culture. Okay, yes, it's the culture, but for me it was familial background. Yeah, like I don't know how to explain it, but I think it ties in with a lot of like what's written on the list, like faith, what else? Their character, how they were brought up per se, and it also does tie in with like the cultural aspect, like their way of life, definitely. But for me, the way I was thinking about it, is he from, or is my partner? Yeah, he. I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
Tamiron, editing Tamiron, he definitely, thank you.
Oh Jesus.
What was your shikanisha?
Oh no, she said, he definitely.
She said he. Oh, sorry, my partner. He definitely.
It can be a she. You get.
Oh, your hesitation made it seem like
Okay. For me, I think I'd love my partner to come from a place where he's been brought up right. Like we have the same values. Like the value of family, the value of respect, you know, where he appreciates the value even of a woman. And also, I'm not saying men don't have value, but you know, like we both respect each other as individuals, and I think that's very key, because one thing I've realized, if it's not certainty, it's not certain, but like your upbringing kind of speaks a lot and can influence a lot of who you become or a lot of who you are and what you value. If you are brought up in a family that does not value certain things, definitely you will seem not to value these things, most likely. And it's not like there's no other option, but highly likely, Jesus Christ, you're more likely to not value those kind of things if your family didn't value them. So that's how I looked at cultural background, and I liked even how you explained just generally everything, and that was a cool conversation.
Can I just add something about familial background?
Yeah.
Mimi, if we get to a point where, like, you know, it's me versus my partners. Hopefully this won't happen after marriage. If it's me versus like my partner's mom, and they choose their mother. Why?
The fact that there's a fight.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'll
probably work.
Even me, cause push comes to shove, you'll always be on your mother's side.
side.
And I can't.
I can't find myself in a position. I wouldn't want to find myself in a position where my husband or my boyfriend has to choose between his mother and me. Because you see, the thing is, how do I even explain? Like, it's kind of, I think you already see those kind of signs even before you get married.
Yeah.
And
Maybe not.
I feel like
But,
you do,
yeah, you can
especially
continue.
even in the introduction.
Yeah.
When you go like to the introduction and then you see like kuna vibe, you know, because most of the time as the lady, okay, this is what I've had. Like as a lady now you go help out in the kitchen and all. And then most of the times those aunties and even the mother or soon to be mother-in-law wanaanza kukusengenya.
Yeah. I think another very clear sign that it happens is if the mother is still infantilizing her child.
Yes.
If she's still talking about her son like he's
a child.
10 or 11, oh, mpikie nini mtoto wangu, mwoshe nguo, like such things, like there are clear sign of, I think it's a very unhealthy relationship between mother and son, because the son is never able to separate from the mother, and that's very, very unhealthy. Not just like for your future relationship, but even for your mental health as a man, it's very damaging.
And even you find that those mothers tend to even start controlling their sons. Literally, you're not even married to your husband, you're married to his mother.
Yeah.
Like now you're
It's
like
very,
there's a crazy dynamic. So immediately you see such signs, personally, if I were to see such signs, in as much as nakupenda aje, I'm sorry. This is
can I
So this thing is just going to be cancelled.
yeah, it seems. So you guys, you're familiar with like Red Pill community, yeah?
No.
These men, all these men with podcasts, women just want money. Women just want.
or like shits and gigs.
No, shits and gigs are just they're
They're
just
just
mean.
men.
Yeah, they're just vibes, by the way. They don't actually nini. But think about like all the men that are like for sure 100% certain that all women want in life is a rich man.
Oh, like Andrew Tate.
Yeah, but most of them stem from Andrew Tate, you know. Where was I going with that? So there's a trend amongst that community of those men leaving the West. You remember when we were talking about West versus East in terms of culture? So leaving the West to come more East. When I say more East, less Africa, more Asia, and like find women there. I don't, in my chest and in my heart, because I truly want to believe that these men are not evil. I don't think they are in their heart, they are just evil human beings. I think what usually happens is they leave the West, say move to like the Philippines for work or something, and then they fall in love with a woman in the Philippines, and then they move. Now when they're done with work, they move back to America, now husband and wife. So the general trend is, apparently, I don't know how true this is statistically speaking, but apparently there's like a mass migration of men like marrying outside the States especially, yeah. So a lot of women have been saying that's like predatory behavior, because you're going for these women who are quote unquote who will, I don't know, I guess submissive or whatever. But I think it's pretty dehumanizing to look at it from that angle, because essentially what you're saying is, those women are too dumb, number one, they're too uneducated to actually know what they want in a guy, you know. So you're going for those women, like they're basically infantilizing those women, they're acting like those women are children and incapable of making their own decisions. So what would you guys have to say about that? Do you still think that's a cultural divide? Do you agree that those women are too submissive to like choose an actual good man? What do you all think?
Cultural divide, I think, because like, okay, for us as women, like in Africa, I presume, like there's this whole there's like a push for women to be like, si kunyenyekea definitely, but like besides the fact that we are educated and besides the fact that we know a lot of things, you know, you kind of are taught like, oh, you know, unafaa kumdekeza mwanaume, like just the way we have been brought up. Okay, I would speak for myself maybe, but how people have been brought up, people I know and also myself, like there's just how do I explain? There's even how we've been socialized somewhat. There's a hint, yes, we are empowering women, but then there's a hint of like,
lakini umbembeleze.
Lakini
ufanye hivi.
Yeah, like,
but also do this.
Yeah, don't be too
stuck.
Don't be too, have that femininity touch to you. You know, the femininity touch is like for you to be sweet and not, is it docile? Is that the meaning? Or for you to be not soft but tender, and then like I think now for like the Western culture, they're at par. Like in my point of view, men and women are like at par, even with the kind of opportunities they offer. But here in Africa, you can still see there's like a divide between men and women. You still see men are at a pedestal, women are still trying to climb that ladder. We're not there, but we're still trying to climb that ladder.
What do you mean by men are at a pedestal?
Men are like valued in terms of their authority, in terms of their power. They're idolized. Not all, but
I think even when you look at premarital not counseling, what they tell you in bridal showers is ni mwanaume, forgive him.
Oh yeah.
he's going to cheat.
Yeah, I think there's a grand there's a definite normalization of men cheating in our community. And I think the worst part is, me personally, I know I have it in me to forgive. I know it'll be hard, but I know I have it in me to forgive.
Good for you.
But I don't know a man who will forgive a cheating wife.
Exactly.
I don't know any. So there's so much, like, women are so encouraged to cheat. But when a man says to forgive cheaters, but when a man says, yeah, if she cheats on me, I leave. He's yeah, that's correct. That's the only accurate Nini to you. But then, you know, statistics still show Nini, because
43% of Kenyan women are okay with what?
Being beaten.
With being beaten.
I saw that.
there's another Nini, but sorry. Go ahead. Just finish.
No,
what
I'm
you're
done.
saying. Okay, yeah. You see, there's that statistic that shows that men are 43% of women are okay with being beaten. But there's also a lot of statistics that show most men in our continent aren't raising their children.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't raising their own children. I think, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I think it's something like 7 in 10 children, like 7 out of 10 children that you'll raise will not be biologically yours.
Actually,
so women are cheating.
Yeah.
Clearly they are. Everybody's cheating out here.
actually, there's a statistic in Uganda, funny enough, where a lot of men are now requesting for DNA tests, and now it's breaking
Paternity
families.
tests.
Yeah, it's breaking families apart because now these fathers are getting to know these kids are not theirs. And
But
it's
you see,
crazy.
the thing is now, when men find out they've been cheated on and they make this whole spectacle about it, it's like, yeah, support.
Yeah.
Correct, you know you're worth king, you know? But here, on the other hand, we're telling women, oh, you know, just forgive him. You know, a man will always cheat. Yeah. And for me, I genuinely think it's not a misuse. Sorry, that's not what I'm trying. Not abuse. I guess an abuse of feminine traits. That's what I think it is. The empathy, you're generally prone to forgive.
Yeah.
Because I guess, I don't know, life,
That's how
if you know, Mungu alitubmake, I don't know. But it's an abuse of that. It's knowing that she has it in her to forgive. She has the will to bend and not to break. You know?
I don't think it's like us having it in ourselves. It's the way we've been socialized.
Really? I don't think so. Because even in countries where women are told from young age, power, girl boss, you know, leave a man, they still forgive.
But yeah, they forgive. But you know, like majority of cultures in the world were cultures not. There's no culture that's unique. You know, every culture has borrowed from somewhere. That's how cultures are formed. That's how civilization was formed. It was through borrowing. Yeah. So we've borrowed a lot from each other, and the one thing that we've borrowed a lot of is like women are more calm and men are more, you know, aggressive.
I don't think it's that. You know why I don't think it's that? It's because even when you look at female friendships, that forgiveness is still there. Women are more likely to remain friends with people who have hurt them compared to men. You know? Well, men are less likely.
So you still don't think it's socialization?
I still don't think it's socialization. I think it's the genuine divide of the traits. I'm not saying that, you know, the women are calm, men are aggressive is inherently wrong. I don't think it's an inherent lie. I don't think it's the patriarchy. You know, I don't think that's what it is. I think there's a lot of truth in it. You know why I think there's a lot of truth in it? Because statistics still show that women score higher in all of these points. In empathy, women still score higher. As yes, there will be a few women who aren't as empathetic as other women, but majority women are still more
But
empathetic.
now what I'm
Let
saying,
me- Let me to support Pauline.
Yeah.
Recently, I was in a talk about femininity, and this conversation was being spearheaded by from anyway, someone who has background in philosophy. And she was a philosopher, and she was telling us that from a philosophical point of view, the difference between men and women. So for men, they are it was okay. They have a posture of sacrifice, and as women, we have a posture of receptivity. And from I remember the 4 traits of kind of receptivity is being receptive, like and like when you say okay, let me gather my thoughts. But I think maybe I'll speak about that in a later point because my mind is all jumbled up. But the main point I was driving to is the fact that yes, there's a big difference between men and women, not only biologically, but also in character and development and all that stuff. And like sure, there's the whole assumption that not assumption, but like there's the fact that gender is socialized, like gender is a social construct.
Exactly.
But
like aside from that, I think
There's also a biological play to it.
I agree.
There's some biology.
As much as
like you
gender,
can't explain it.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. You can't explain it because it's not necessarily tied to your DNA. But as much as gender is socialized and it's a social concept, there's some innateness to it that I don't think is just social.
Can I try and explain?
Yes.
I think as much as gender is a social construct, it's not an empty social construct. If people didn't sit down, it's informed by biological. It's an informed by social construct. So I'm not saying that. What am I not saying? I'm not saying that
It can't be socialized.
yeah, it can't be socialized or it's purely the way you are. But a lot of it's easy to socialize it in the first place because it's innate. You get? Because I think to say it's purely socialized is to say that we are incapable of deciding for ourselves. To say it's purely socialized means that society has decided for us and we are incapable of making our own decisions. But I don't think that's true. Because if that's true, then feminism would have never risen. It would have never ever been able to rise up. Even current, what else would have never risen if that was fully true? The current trend of, currently in the Ukrainian-Russian war, Russia is trying to, I'm not sure which end of the battle is trying. I think they're both trying. They're both trying to do what? Recruit young men, like 18, 17, 16, that age, young boys, young men, young boys. And the recruitment isn't working because they've said that young boys, young men have said, we don't want to go to war. We are not going to fight for you. If it was purely socially constructed, they would have gone to war. They would have. I don't think they would have set their foot down.
Isn't society changing?
Would you say Russia is a changed society?
Yes.
Russia is culturally closer to Asia than it is culturally closer to Europe.
Yes, but the younger you are, the more radical you are, if that makes sense. The more
Like the Jennies.
yeah.
Just like Jennies, Gen Alphas.
Yeah.
Radical.
So I don't know. I'm going to say, let's agree to disagree because we've digressed very far away from the main topic, but
Yeah, true.
I wanted to, but you made me laugh when you were saying philosopher because I remember in one of the episodes you're like, Priscilla has become a philosophist
No.
instead of a philosopher.
Oh, you know, so many. Was it Wangari? Wangari laughed. She was laughing. She's like, actually, I'm a philosophist. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so
Okay, so no, say your point though, because I want to understand why you think it's purely socially
I
constructed.
can't defend myself yet.
Okay.
In a future episode,
You
when I have all my facts, I don't like to argue when I don't have
your
a
facts
proper
makes sense.
basis. Yeah.
But
So-
I'm ready for that conversation.
Yeah, when I'm ready to discuss.
No, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
when you're ready.
You may
But
digress.
Sana.
there's a lot I've been learning about femininity that, wow, it's more than we think it is. Anyway.
Hey guys, sorry. So we may or may not, up to you to decide, have gotten into a slight argument about cultural differences. Don't worry, we're still friends. We've not cut each other off. We've not cancelled each other. But yeah, please look out for part 2 because this conversation is not over. Sponsors, Coca-Cola. That biscuit company, what is it called? Sunfit. Please, we eat you every time we film. Sorry, record. You know, email us.
Highlands.
Nakina Highlands.
We love you.
We love you. Feel free to email us at p3tpodcastke@gmail.com. Shoot us a DM. Look at our stories. Look at our posts. Just look at. Anyway, anyone? Anything?
Cheers.
Cheers.